Hello everyone, today I want to share my Tighnari build and team compositions in the short guide. As always, I start with a build, then go over team compositions and show some Abyss gameplay at the end.
I will have order. I'll uproot. Enshroud.
Inazuma shines eternal.
He's using a pretty standard main DPS build, just focus on the usual attack, crit rate, crit damage, in his case obviously dendro damage bonus, and you can pretty much ignore energy recharge. His elemental burst skill is very cheap, and he has elemental mastery scaling, and he deals spread damage, which also is increased by elemental mastery, so you definitely want some, like 200 to 300 is perfect, but don't go above that and sacrifice other stats. As for his talent priority, I think it's actually pretty close between the normal attacks and elemental burst skill. I think safer is leveling up the normal attacks first, then the elemental burst skill, and you can definitely save the elemental skill for last. As for Constellations, most of them are just a personal damage increase for Tighnari, which is good, and I want to highlight Constellation 4 because this grants your team 60 elemental mastery after Tighnari uses his elemental burst skill, and if it triggers a dendro elemental reaction, it increases the elemental mastery by additional 60, so 120 in total, which is some team-wide utility, which is always great to see. And keep in mind, Tighnari will be added to the standard banner pool, so even if you're free to play, you will likely end up with some of these constellations. As for weapons, a good first option is the craftable weapon from Inazuma, Hama Yumi, and of course if you have the battle pass weapon, it's a good choice as well, and in case you have a 5-star weapon, it is doing a lot for a character like Tighnari. As for artifacts, we already covered substats earlier. As for main stats, it's attack percentage here, dendro damage bonus here, and crit rate or crit damage, whichever one balances your stats better in the last slot. As for the set, it's definitely the Wondrous Troop. Of course, elemental mastery is great for Tighnari, and a lot of his damage is dealt by charge attack, so the 4-piece is pretty much a no-brainer. In my opinion, this is the one set you want to aim for. As for team compositions, Tighnari is obviously a main DPS who wants to play quick swap style. As for the healer slot, I just stick to Bennett for simplicity's sake, since most people prefer him, and Tighnari wants to play a quicken team, so you need an electro sub DPS character. Of course, Yai Miko, Fischl, or even Raiden are good choices for this, and in the last slot you want something that lowers resistances or has some kind of utility. For example, an Anemo character like Sucrose, who obviously also has the elemental mastery buff, which benefits Tighnari as well, or you can play something like Kazuha or Venti, or something even like Zhongli, who adds also dendro resistance shred to the team, which is great of course. In case you play Zhongli, you obviously don't really need a healer thanks to a shield, so you can replace Bennett with Albedo for the Geo Resonance and the Elemental Mastery buff to benefit Elemental Mastery scaling characters like Tighnari, and in case you play Yai as your Electro sub DPS. I think this team has a lot of internal synergy and is one of the best Tighnari teams out there in my opinion. Tighnari, Albedo, Yai, and Zhongli. And your last option is playing a dendro sub DPS character in the last slot, of course the Traveler or Collei, and you can play the Deepwood memory set on this character to shred the dendro resistance. Additionally, you obviously get the dendro resonance, which increases your elemental mastery. Again, it benefits Tighnari and Yai especially, but it also just increases your elemental reaction damage, spread, and aggravate. And now for the showcase. Tighnari is really easy to use. All you want to do is once you switch to him, press both of his skills and then follow up with 3 charged attacks. Why 3? Because whenever you press his elemental skill, you get decreased charge time on his next to 3 arrows as indicated by these glowing orbs. As you see, when I do a charge attack, it is down to 2 glowing orbs. So you want to do all 3 of them and then switch to the next character. And now let's see that in action. It's really easy. All you want to do is activate Quicken. It's an elemental reaction between Electro and Dendro, and as you see right here, it will stay on the boss no matter how many aggravate or spread reactions you trigger with it. So I can attack as much as I want with Electro, and the Dendro element stays on there as you see. And the same applies to Dendro, so I activate my elemental burst skill and all of that just triggers spread, and it's still triggering spread as you see right there, even though Electro isn't getting reapplied over and over again. And for now I'm gonna leave you with some Abyss gameplay and come back at the end.
There is no escape. Everybody stand back. Think you can get away?
Let's nip that in the bud. Can't see. Keep up.
I'm going in. Time for takeoff. Let's play. Torn to oblivion.
Alright, we made it to the end. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own builds. Stay tuned for more videos. Until then, have fun and bye bye.